Of a porn star's alleged affair with Donald Trump years ago. Don't know why there's no sun up in the sky. Stormy Daniels next.
Well, it was quite the earthquake, wasn't it?
It certainly was.
And, you know, on so many different levels. I mean, people have talked about this as, you know, I had the story. I certainly was aware of the relationship that the then President Bill Clinton, had with Monica Lewinsky. But what made this a story was the decision by Ken Starr to launch a criminal investigation of this matter, to wire Linda Tripp in her conversations with Monica Lewinsky to gather evidence to suggest that the president and his good friend Vernon Jordan were seeking to cover up, to obstruct the ongoing Paula Jones lawsuit. And that was a stunning development.
So without Ken Starr, are you saying this may not have been...
I know we at Newsweek knew about the allegations of the relationship for months. I had been talking to Linda Tripp. She had provided me all sorts of circumstantial evidence, including offering to give me the blue dress, although it was not clear what I could possibly have done with it to use that as corroborating evidence. But once the Paula Jones lawsuit proceeded, and it was clear that Bill Clinton was going to be deposed under oath and was going to be asked about this. Right. That got it closer to a story, but it was the intervention of Starr that made this the political earthquake that it was.
And then eventually the cover-up that made it a bigger political...
Well, and the president, of course, publicly denied that the allegations were true.
Sally, the Lewinsky story, I mean, it was epic then and eventually resulted in the president's impeachment. And then you fast forward 20 years and we have a story about President Trump allegedly having a tryst with a porn star, Stormy Daniels. The Wall Street Journal reported just this past Friday on an alleged tryst that the president's attorney, Michael Cohen, arranged a $130,000 payment to a former adult film star a month before the 2016 election as part of an agreement that precluded her from publicly discussing any alleged sexual encounter with Mr. Trump, citing people familiar with the matter. Why hasn't the public reacted the same way? This is someone who is now the President of the United States, was married, his child had a small child, and is accused of covering it up in some way. Why isn't this a big story? Why does the public...
You know why? Because I think that on the list of outrages, this comes very low. And, you know, I think, well, with Bill Clinton, and I have to say that Michael Isikoff did a brilliant job of reporting on the Monica Lewinsky story, and I was there hanging over his shoulder looking at his computer while he was doing it. But at that time, and it wasn't a shock that Bill Clinton was having an affair, because we already knew that he'd done that. But it was a shock when it became clear that he was going to be deposed, and then he lied. But I think with Donald Trump, first of all, everybody knows that this is what he does, and I think that he has, it was a consensual affair. I don't think any money changed hands at the time, at least that we know of now. And I think that the only thing that that is going to get in the way is where the money, follow the money. Where did they get the money to pay her off, to keep her silent? Why did they wait so long? How was it done? That part of it, I think, could be difficult. But I think that when you look at what Trump has done with the environment and what he's done with DACA and what he has done with health care and what he's doing with the immigration and racism, and you know, you could go on and on and on.
This just falls at the bottom.
This is just falls at the bottom, and I think that the Trump supporters, obviously, their issue.
Well, they don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter with them.
No,
they don't care about anything. There's no indiscretion. There's nothing. But I want to ask you, because you mentioned Kenneth Starr.
Yeah.
Would something like this possibly turn up with the Mueller investigation if this is?
You know, not on its face. I mean, okay. with the Monica Lewinsky thing, she was a subpoenaed witness in the Paula Jones lawsuit. Remember, the Supreme Court had voted 9-0 that the Supreme Court that the lawsuit should go forward. So, you know, it was a legitimate legal process, and that's what turns it.
I do want to say
turn
this.
it into a
we have to say that the
legal.
president, through his attorney, Michael Cohen, denies that there's any inappropriate relationship with Stormy Daniels, and Cohen also released a statement from Daniels in which she denies having sex with the president. So why do you think this story hasn't blown up?
Well, first of all, they did not deny the $130,000 payment.
Right.
So I mean, that's what leapt out at me. If nothing had happened, why did money change hands? And if money didn't change hands, why didn't they deny that money had changed hands? So that's the first sort of red flag that leaps out. Of course, you know, Stormy Daniels had talked to others and confirmed that she had had a sexual relationship with Donald Trump, and then after the $130,000 payment, she said she did not have a sexual relationship with Donald Trump. So, you know, there are legitimate reasons to be somewhat skeptical about some of these public statements.
Sally, do you think
discrepancies, I think you would say.
Do you think it's a different standard? Because, listen, this president, it is, everyone knows, even his supporters will admit he has a problem with the truth. Bill Clinton was impeached for lying about his affair. Do you think there's a different standard with this president? And I don't have a lot of time left.
Let me just ask you one question. Suppose this happened with a Barack Obama. How do you think that would go down? It would be a huge scandal, and he'd probably be forced to resign.
Republicans and conservative media would be all over it.
Oh, but I don't think, I mean, Melania, I don't think is going to leave him over this, and I think even if she did, people wouldn't care. I think the only thing that will rile people up, his supporters, are, number one, if it's ever been shown that he was behind an abortion of someone that he'd had sex with, or two, that if he were gay or a cross-dresser. And I think that other than that, he's golden.
All right, thank you. That is like, what is it? Is it a live boy or dead girl? Yeah. Thank you very much. Interesting. When we come back, the president's doctor telling the country this about his health.
His overall health is excellent. He has very, very good health. He is in the excellent range from a cardiac standpoint.
But it turns out President Trump's tests show he has heart disease. So why didn't his doctor say that during his briefing?